Tonight on Troy TrojanVision News, a celebration of International Women's Day through a night of appreciation of the arts. We'll have the details coming up.
With the government set to run out of funding by Friday, Congress is in an all-out sprint to pass a $1.5 trillion spending bill. I'm Deborah Alfarone on Capitol Hill with what's at stake for Ukraine.
And Greek Week continues on Troy University's campus through a series of competitions. We'll have the sights and sounds coming up. Stay tuned. Troy TrojanVision News starts right now.
From Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network Earl Hutto Studio, this is Troy TrojanVision News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision News for March 9th, 2022. I'm Georgia Clark.
And I'm Claudia Peppenhorst. Thank you for joining us this evening. Yesterday was International Women's Day, and Troy University celebrated women on campus with an event that highlighted the arts and the many cultures represented on campus. Kadarius Brown gives us a look.
Eyes, Mind, and Music, an artistic celebration of women, was held Wednesday evening. The audience was treated to an evening of music, poetry, and art. The feminist festivities included performances of singing, dancing, and the playing of musical instruments. Professor Menon, a Troy University English professor, recited a poem entitled Night Rain in the Indian language of Malayalam by the artist called Sugata Kumari. The piece comments on the angers of women against a patriarchal society.
Today is International Women's Day, and it's important that we mark the occasion, especially at Troy University, because we celebrate not just women, but also international students here, right? So it's only fitting that we celebrate a day like International Women's Day. It's relevant because we have so many brilliant women on campus, and this is a great opportunity for all of us to come together, celebrate the arts.
Menon goes into more detail about the response to the women's celebration.
It was a fantastic audience. We had a packed room, I think, right? And we had people standing at the back as well. There were men, women, young children who seem to have really enjoyed every aspect of it. An instance like this tells us that we need more of this. You know, Troy is exemplary in setting a stage for the world, because here we have really a slice of different cultures coming together.
A very famous woman once said, "Who run the world? Girls." Kadarius Brown, Troy TrojanVision News.
The Eyes, Mind, and Music events continue tomorrow night with a concert featuring women in music at 7 p.m. in the Long Hall Band Room. The event is free and open to the public.
It's Greek Week at Troy University, a week of competitions between the school's fraternities and sororities. And last night, the groups went toe-to-toe using some fancy footwork. On Tuesday night, Greek organizations gathered in Trojan Arena to show off their best moves at Greek Sing. Contrary to the name, Greek Sing is a dance competition where NPC and NPHC sorority and fraternity teams perform unique themed dances. Greek Sing is also a way for campus Greek life to come together with their various talents.
I think that every sorority fraternity is just so unique to each other that they bring their talents together, and it's just like a big showdown, and it really just showcases all of us in a really good light, and it has really good sportsmanship and competition for all of us.
This week and event also creates some lasting bonds within the teams.
But during this time of Greek Week, I've been with the Lambda Chi boys and the Deke boys, and I've grown really close to them. We talk almost every single day now.
Greek Week is a jam-packed week for our campus's Greek organizations, but according to the committee, Greek Sing is the biggest event of the week.
This is most definitely one of the most anticipated events of the week, more particularly because all of these organizations have been rehearsing and practicing for weeks on end, because Greek Sing is looked forward to. It is what everyone wants to do the best at.
This year's theme is Hollywood, and each team brought a distinct genre to the dance floor, showcasing not only their tumbling abilities, but also their acting skills, performing scenes from a wide range of iconic movies. The winners will be announced on Thursday night at 7 p.m. in the Trojan Arena. For more information on Greek Week and the remaining events taking place, you can learn more on their Instagram at Troy Greek Week. Trojan Arena will be home to another Greek Week competition tonight, as the Greek Week Trivia Competition will be at 7 p.m. in the arena. If you had to get across a pond with only cardboard and duct tape at your disposal, could you do it?
That was the challenge presented to fraternities and sororities Tuesday afternoon. Belle Johnson gives us a look at the group's shipbuilding attempts.
Tuesday afternoon, Greek Week continued with the annual Build-A-Boat competition located at Butter and Egg Adventures. Teams were given only cardboard, duct tape, and their imaginations to build a boat that would float across the lake with 2 team members inside.
It's basically like a little fun thing to do. You know, we get these teams paired up. We took about, I think it's 10 players. We let them know to build a boat and basically put your 2 participants in the boat and basically sail off. The ideal of this event is to cross, and if you do make it to the other side, then we'll go off by time. But it's really just, you know, for fun and games. A lot of people love this event.
Each team creatively came up with unique ideas how to keep their boat afloat. There was no doubt competition was high, though some team members were nervous, but eventually pushed through.
I was looking around and there's so many different boats. I was so scared. I was like, we're gonna sink, we're not gonna win. And then ours ended up being the only one that actually stood up and went really fast. So I was kind of impressed.
Some boats made it all the way across, while others were not so lucky. Nevertheless, the team members not in the boat were on the edge of the lake cheering and showing support the entire time. All team members showed pride in their work, no matter what the outcome.
We definitely had the best boat, hands down. I had a great teammate. We were with Pike. We were just unmatched, really.
Winners of the competition will be announced later this week.
We got about 2 more days left, and then we'll finish off Thursday with a band party to announce the winners.
Belle Johnson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The interesting modes of competitive transportation continue today as fraternities and sororities took part in a shopping cart race as part of the Greek Week activities.
Now for news from across the nation and around the world on Troy TrojanVision News.
The House is considering a vote today on a $1.5 trillion spending bill that would include billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine.
Congress must pass this legislation by Friday to avert a government shutdown. Deborah Alferon reports from Capitol Hill.
We are here today in a time of great crisis.
House lawmakers inched closer to passing a massive $1.5 trillion spending bill that would fund the federal government through September.
This agreement does not include everything I wanted, and I know it doesn't include everything my Republican friends wanted. But I think at the end of the day, it's a good package.
The measure, which was hammered out overnight, includes $13.6 billion in military and humanitarian aid for Ukraine as the nation defends itself against a Russian invasion.
Putin is evil, and what he's doing to these people is devastating.
The package did include $15.6 billion for COVID relief, but some lawmakers on both sides of the aisle pushed back, so the bill is being revised.
If it feels like we've been here before, that's because we have. Funding for federal agencies is set to run out at midnight Friday. The bill is huge, almost 3,000 pages, and some lawmakers are complaining that's a lot to sift through in this time frame.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell backs the funding bill and says he will urge his caucus to vote for it. The White House is pressing Congress to get the legislation to the president for his signature without delay. Deborah Alferon, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Pentagon officials tell CBS News that Russia has been slowed but not stopped in its invasion of Ukraine.
But the Russians are turning more and more to so-called dumb bombs, which result in higher civilian casualties. Skylar Henry has the latest on the war in Ukraine from the White House.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky tweeted out video he says shows evidence of a Russian strike on a maternity hospital.
Russia's aggression has already killed and injured innocent people and forced more than 1.5 million Ukrainians to flee their country.
Zelensky once again called on the West to impose a no-fly zone over Ukraine, something NATO says it won't do. The U.S. also shot down a Polish plan to give Ukraine Russian-made jets, but only if they are first delivered to Germany and then flown from a U.S. base to Ukraine.
I think it's pretty clear it doesn't require a military expert to understand why having planes fly from a U.S. airbase into a contested part of a country where there is a war is not in our interest and not in NATO interests.
President Biden tweeted out that he's looking to Congress to pass an additional $12 billion in funding to send weapons and humanitarian relief to Ukraine. President Zelensky thanked the U.S. for banning Russian oil, but admonishment doesn't stop with government sanctions. Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Starbucks, and other corporations have all announced they are halting sales in Russia.
The fact that the Russian people aren't being told the truth. But they will be seeing now, by the fact that shops are closing, they're not able to get the goods that they were able to get, exactly the implications that Putin's aggression in Ukraine is having for Russia.
Social media showed people lining up at McDonald's in Moscow before the store closes. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Well, Georgia, we were under tornado warning early this morning, so I'm wondering if we should be expecting any more storms this week.
Yes, Claudia, and we've been experiencing much cooler temperatures. Mackenzie, what can we look for the rest of the week?
Well, ladies, with those cooler temperatures making a comeback, you may also need a rain jacket for the upcoming showers, but I'll let you know more after the break.
Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. Why would you do that?
Probably okay isn't okay. Call a cab, a car, or a friend.
Good choice.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. They kept prescribing it, so I kept taking it. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Disaster tips from the objects left behind.
My home wasn't insured, but you can check your insurance policy now to make sure you're covered. Oh.
My savings are lost, but you can put money aside and plan for unexpected disaster costs.
We're lost forever, but you can scan important documents now so they survive.
Whoa. For more tips on how to prepare, visit ready.gov.
Now, your weather on Troy Trojan Vision News.
I'm Mackenzie Foster, and this is your Troy Trojan Vision forecast. As we take a look at our quad cam, we are experiencing an overcast sky, but will those conditions continue? I'll let you know after our current conditions. Taking a look, like I said before, our skies are overcast. Our temperature is at 56 degrees. The humidity is at 67%. The pressure is at 29.95 inches, and our wind is coming from the north at 9 miles per hour. And as we take a look at our daily weather almanac, our record high in 1925 was a warm 89 degrees, but today our high is 61 degrees. As we take a look at our record low in 1996, it was a chilly 20 degrees, but our low today is 54 degrees. We have also seen almost an inch of rain today. And as we take a look around the state, the temperatures are getting a lot more cooler, ranging from the low 50s to the high 50s. And as we take a look, Huntsville with the lowest at 50 degrees, Birmingham at 54 degrees, Phoenix City is at 59 degrees, Montgomery is at 56 degrees, Troy and Dothan are both at 56 degrees, and Mobile is at 51 degrees. And as we take a look across the southeast, we are experiencing those cooler temperatures in the 50s. And as we take a look across the nation, they are also experiencing some chilly temperatures, with some states even experiencing temperatures within the single digits. And as we take a look at Thursday, we should be experiencing some rain. And as we continue into Friday, that rain should also continue. But as we head into Saturday, that should clear up and we should get some partly cloudy skies. And as we head into Sunday, it should clear up and we should be experiencing sunny skies. And as we take a look at tonight, the low should be 50 degrees and we should be expecting a chance of showers with our winds coming from the north at 5 miles per hour. And as we take a look at tomorrow, it should warm up, but we should still be expecting a chance of showers with the winds continuing to come from the north at 5 miles per hour. And as we take a look at our 4-day forecast, Thursday we should be expecting a 30% chance of rain, with the high being 72 degrees and the low being 50 degrees. And as we head into Friday, we should be experiencing 50% chance of precipitation, with the high being 72 degrees again, with the low being 38 degrees. But as we head into Saturday, the temperature should cool down, with the high being 47 degrees. And as we head into the nighttime, our low should be 24 degrees. And as we head into Sunday, we should still be experiencing no rain, but the high should be 58 degrees. So you will need a jacket this weekend, but it should clear up. That has been your forecast. Now back to the news desk.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Coming up on Troy Trojan Vision News, a century-old shipwreck and a modern plane crash. Two tales of survival up ahead in today's Take a Look at This.
And the Trojan baseball team is on the road this afternoon against Jacksonville State. Cy Yates will have an update coming up in sports.
We all dream. But dreams quickly become distant memories, unless we do something about it. Do everything in our power to learn to lead. At Troy University, we teach everyone to be leaders in their field. We're dedicated to teaching a new generation to lead change.
They took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad! You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Now, the latest in Trojan sports on Troy Trojan Vision News.
Welcome to your Trojan Vision Sports. I'm Cy Yates. After a rain delay postponed the Trojan baseball team's matchup to today, Troy traveled to Jacksonville to take on Jacksonville State this afternoon. At the last report, the score was 14-6 in the bottom of the 9th inning. Troy's run total was aided by a huge 10-run third inning. Rigsby Mosley got his first start on the mound today for Troy, but it was his offensive performance that made history, as Mosley got his 58th career double to become Troy's all-time doubles leader in school's history. The Trojans will be back in action this weekend as they welcome the Indiana Hoosiers to Riddle Pace Field for a 3-game series. And the Trojans softball team will open conference play this weekend when they travel to Conway, South Carolina to take on the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. Troy is coming off a 2-3 weekend that included a win over the 21st ranked LSU Tigers. Troy will look to start conference play off on the right foot with a 3-game series against the Chanticleers starting Friday at 3 p.m. in Conway. And yesterday, the Trojan women's basketball team learned that their season isn't over just yet after their disappointing loss to UT Arlington in the Sun Belt Tournament Championship game. Troy accepted an invite to the WNIT tournament, and the official tournament seedings will be announced on Monday, and that's when Troy will learn who they will play. However, whoever they play, head coach Shanda Rigby says her team took away a lot from their loss to UTA about mistakes that they don't plan on repeating.
They beat us at our own game of many things, not only rebounding, but running the floor. We were bad in transition defense in the first half as well. Again, I mean, I always try to not lose, but I learn, I would say what I would learn from that is you can't let the domino effect happen, because that's exactly what happened because they were getting more rebounds and we kind of lost our man because they were kind of getting more rebounds. We weren't used to that. I think we got bad in transition defense. So we still have some season left. That's a takeaway I think we'll take away from here is when one bad thing's happen, don't throw good money after bad, as they say in poker.
Once again, Troy will learn their opponent in the WNIT on Monday, and they could also learn whether or not they could be hosting in the opening round games. In Georgia, Claudia, I'm hoping that our Trojans can hold on and beat Jacksonville State today.
I do too. I wish them luck.
Yes, absolutely. Good luck to them. And the next time they play will be this weekend in a 3-game series?
Yes, they'll start a 3-game series with Indiana beginning this Friday at Riddle Pace Field.
All right. Thank you, Cy. Troy University's Dean of Libraries has written a book about his experiences in Slovakia.
Aaron Taylor learns more about the book in today's edition of Trojan Talk.
Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. With me today is Chris Schaefer, Dean of Libraries here at Troy University. Chris, thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
And while as Dean of Libraries, you're used to people checking out books from you, today you're here because you want people to check out your book as an author. Tell us a little about the book that we're here to talk about today.
Absolutely. I'm hoping you'll check out Moon over Sosova, my story about teaching English in Slovakia in 1993.
And 1993, Slovakia, this is a unique time in history, and especially a unique time for an American to be in this part of the country. Tell us a little about that part of the world. Tell us about your experience and being there in this moment just shortly after the fall of communism.
Well, we're 4 years away from communism and the Velvet Revolution, and we are 14 days when I got there from the Velvet Divorce when Slovakia separated from Czechoslovakia. So, it was a unique time, certainly, and also, you had this element of sort of I was a Martian because I was an American and they had never seen too many of us. And so it was a great time to be there.
And of course, what got you there to begin with? You were in Slovakia, you were teaching English, but how did you end up there?
Well, it was largely serendipity. I was on a study abroad program with Auburn. And it's one of the things I like about Troy so much that we do all of this study abroad because I'm like our students could actually have this happen to them. On a weekend trip while I was on the study abroad in Mannheim, Germany, I went to Prague, ended up, just loved it. Very amazing architecture, Gothic and Baroque, and I saw this sign on a telephone pole and it said, "Do you want to come teach English over here?" And they had the numbers you could tear off. Well, it turned out the organization, Education for Democracy, was based at the University of South Alabama. I was calling an Alabama number when I got back.
So all the way around the world and ended up with a program that was located just a few miles down the road.
Absolutely.
Now, this is a chance to tell an interesting story about your life. It is a biographical account of your time in Slovakia that you've committed to the written word. How long did it take for this process from beginning to end to get this book put together?
Depends on how you look at it. It either took 28 years or 10 weeks. I thought about it for about 28 years, and there was even a period where I tried to write something in my 20s, and I've still got it. It's just hideous, horrible writing. And then when I actually sat down in the fall of 19, I committed myself to writing 5,000 words a week, and doing that with edits about 10 weeks.
So 28 years to get to the journey, 10 weeks to knock it out. Obviously, it's a joy to finally see this put together and out there for folks to read.
It is, and it's also a really positive nod to procrastination.
Now, the title, talk about the title and where this came from, because it has a little something to do with some of the conditions in the city there, correct?
Yes, and so I always preface this by saying Slovakia is a beautiful country, and the town where I was working, Banska Bystrica, is a beautiful medieval city. It was very wealthy, built in the 1300s, but the apartment blocks where I was living were called Sosova. It was about 5 miles out of the city, and everyone looked the same. They were all gray. You had the same playground in between each one, and everything was coal-powered. And so when you were coming home at the end of the day, everybody had gotten home, they were turning on the heat, and so it was just kind of brown, and it just caused a bit of a haze. So the last night I was there, we were having a party, as we often did, but this was a going-away party, and I was out on the balcony, and I was talking to a good friend, and I looked up and I saw the moon, which had not been prominent because of the haze, and I said, "Oh my God, there's a moon over Sosova." And, you know, maybe it was the wine, maybe it was an author in waiting, but I said that will be the name of the book if I ever do it.
And it ended up being the name of the book. And speaking of the book, talk a little about, no spoilers because you want people to read it, but what do you think is probably one of your favorite moments out of the book? Because obviously there's got to be a lot in this situation, but what would you say is one of your favorite moments from the book, anecdotes there?
Well, I always go with the bizarre, and so I was doing a conversational lesson at a woman's house, and she was telling me about her sister, and she said, you know, my sister moved to Germany and she was murdered there. And, you know, I was 22, so of course I knew everything. And I said, well, you don't mean murdered, you mean she died. And she says, no, Chris, no die, murder. Neighbor come from next door and drag her down to basement, and he cut off her halava kopf, how you say head? I was like, yeah, I think she was murdered.
Yeah, she's learned the context of a good object lesson on contextual language learning there.
So you know, maybe one of those times when I should have just said,
Yeah, that's good. Now, obviously, that if it's whet anyone's appetite, they want to get their hands on this book. What's the best way to get their hands on the book so they could learn about your life in Slovakia?
Amazon.com, type in Moon over Sasova or Christopher Schaefer, or both.
All right, and then that'll there, and you can get a copy of the book and check out this amazing story about your early life and teaching over in Slovakia. And I'm glad that you were here to share it with us today. Thank you for joining us on that.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk.
Upright, intact, and in a brilliant state of preservation. That's how the expedition director of Endurance 22 described the newly discovered shipwrecked vessel HMS Endurance.
The remarkable find is perhaps just as notable as the extraordinary century-old tale of the crew's survival. Amanda Sassone has that story and more on today's Take a Look at This.
Lurking in the depths of a frozen sea, a piece of history discovered using modern technology. More than 100 years ago, Sir Ernest Shackleton and his crew sought to achieve the first land crossing of Antarctica, but their ship HMS Endurance never made it to shore. The vessel was trapped in dense ice, crushed and sunk in 1915, never to be seen again. Until now. In February, the Falklands Maritime Heritage Trust launched Endurance 22, an unprecedented 35-day mission to cross a stretch of sea few ships have dared to travel, with the goal of finding, filming, and studying the wreck of its namesake. The team of marine archaeologists, engineers, technicians, and scientists used century-old navigational records along with state-of-the-art hybrid autonomous underwater vehicles to locate and survey the wreckage. The organization hopes the discovery will inspire future polar exploration. The fate of the crew, just as inspiring. After months of surviving the brutal Antarctic conditions in makeshift camps, all 28 men made it home when Shackleton and a team of 5 made an extraordinary 800-mile open boat journey to get help. From a historic shipwreck to a modern-day plane crash, 2 people on board a single-engine plane managed to walk away with only minor injuries after their Cessna crashed in the median of a highway in Douglas County, Colorado, Tuesday. The South Metro Fire Department capturing images of the plane's engine in flames as crews worked to contain the blaze. An investigation is underway into what caused the plane to go down. For Take a Look at This, I'm Amanda Sansoni.
Well, before we go, we're going to get one more look at our weather. In Georgia, I sure am hoping things will warm up for spring break next week.
Yes, Claudia, me too. Mackenzie, what can we expect for the next few days?
Well, ladies, those cooler temperatures may actually stick around during your spring break plans. But first, as we take a look at tonight, the low should be 50 degrees and we should be expecting a chance of showers with our winds coming from the north at 5 miles per hour. But as we head into tomorrow, it should warm up with the high being 72 degrees and we should still be expecting a chance of showers with our winds also continuing to come from the north at 5 miles per hour. And as we take a look at our 4-day forecast, Thursday and Friday, we should be expecting some rain. On Thursday, we should be expecting a 30% chance of rain, and on Friday, Saturday, we should be expecting a 50% chance of rain. The high on Thursday is 72 degrees with the low being 50 degrees. The high on Friday being 72 degrees again with the low being 38 degrees. The high on Saturday being 47 degrees with the low being 24 degrees. And their high on Saturday is 58 degrees. That has been your forecast. Now back to the news desk.
That's all the time we have for Troy Trojan Vision News. From all of us here at Trojan Vision, thanks for joining us. Remember, you can see our stories anytime on our Trojan Vision blog.
That's today.troy.edu/TrojanVision. Tune in again tomorrow night for more news, sports, and weather. Until then, have a good night.